and go to The Last of Us season 2, episode 3, called The Path. And so as a spoiler free, just so everyone has a chance to realize where we are, I don't want to spoil anything.
Previously on The Last of Us.
Yeah, like a spoiler free review of this is to any Game of Thrones fan, this is the post Red Wedding episode.
You recognize the rhythm.
Yeah.
Here.
And you can tell that like this episode is meant for us to think about what happened, and it gives the characters a chance to plan their next move and everything. And
there are some phenomenal performances in this episode, in scenes where characters don't have very many lines to say.
Right.
It's all just body language and facial expressions and controlled acting.
Yes. Bella Ramsey is getting an extraordinary amount of hate on social media for no other reason than her sexuality is non-binary, which is a problem because it attacks a lot of people's masculinity somehow. It's disgusting, and if your main problem with The Last of Us is that a teenage girl isn't fuckable enough for you, you're disgusting. You're fucking disgusting. And that being said, Bella Ramsey gives these amazing performances. The actor who plays Dina gives these amazing performances. Yeah. The actor that plays Tommy gives these amazing fucking performances. And I got to tell you, someone made a decision like 5 years ago in Hollywood where they're like, do you know all of our fans out there who have lost older siblings? We're going to cause some more trauma to them, and we're going to start killing older siblings. Because like, this isn't the first time. And I've talked about this on the channel before. My brother died 19 years ago, as of the week before last. He died in Afghanistan, and the beginning of this episode is one of those moments where, because like 19 years removed, you've kind of learned to live with it, but it's every once in a while it's still like stepping on a live wire out of nowhere, and it kind of hits you a little bit. And like, I can talk about it now without breaking down, which it took 19 years. But after the first scene of this episode, I had to stop. I had to stop the episode and take a couple breaths, because
like I haven't lost a sibling, and that first scene is still harrowing.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
The other spoiler-free note I want to make before we get fully into it, the actor who plays Dina does a phenomenal job, and I love her. That character is almost the highlight of the show to me.
I like her a lot. Yeah.
The way she plays as this foil to Ellie.
That understands Ellie very well. Yeah.
Like an equal, but like complementary. So
yeah.
We'll get into this a little bit later. But
there's a scene where Ellie kind of lashes out at her, and Dina gives her this look like, I'll allow that.
Yeah, but only because I like you.
Yeah, I like Dina in the show more than I like Dina in the game.
I've heard that as well.
Which Dina isn't like a bad character in the game. I just happen to like the one in the show more. And you know what? I know that Ellie, the actor that plays Ellie in the game, is phenomenal. Like, she's really great. And I wouldn't say that one performance is better than the other, but they are divergent. And I've come to really appreciate that, because Bella Ramsey has this undeniable, intense amount of talent. And look, I've been in love with Bella Ramsey as an actor since Game of Thrones. And all the guys that are bitching about her non-binariness are all the ones that were screaming the praises of fucking
Lady Mormont.
Lyanna Mormont. Yeah. And so just fuck off. She's a good actor. You know she's a good actor. Don't be a little shit about it, right? We're going to get into spoilers for this episode. So if you've not seen it, go watch it, come back. Let us know in the comments what you think.
Oh, last other note. I almost dread watching this show every week, because I know I'm going to be emotionally distraught at the end of it.
It is heavy.
It's so good, but it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's very emotionally taxing. Yeah. So we open up on the fallout of the attack on Jackson.
We open in a morgue, specifically.
No, actually, I think we don't we open on the burning corpses of the?
Burning corpses of the zombies.
Yeah, which evokes immediately the memory of the episode right after the Battle for Winterfell in the last episode or last season of Game of Thrones, which was The Long Night. They open on this funeral that they're having for all the dead. All these characters, by the way, some of them we've been living with since season 1, fucking dead, and it's hard. Like, it's really hard. So Tommy visits Joel, who died in the last episode, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. And he takes over. Which, by the way, there's a lady in there cleaning his skin up, and like shit's still on fire outside. It's like that night, I think the night after the attack, and Tommy like asks her to leave.
He doesn't say anything. He just walks in and she hands over the cloth and walks out. And
he kind of looks at him and thinks about it and says, "Give Sarah my love," which is. It's one of those moments where you're like, man, you were really trying to kick me right in the fucking dick when you said that, didn't you?
Like, seriously, go back and watch this scene again.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah.
It is. He acts his dick off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he doesn't have a dick. Poor guy. The thing that's really sad about, obviously the situation is sad, but Tommy was there when Sarah died in the first season and in the first game. And the fact that he's pulling on these memories that, you know, were decades in the past, and it's like finally you get to go be with your daughter, you know, and it's just like, God damn it, dude, why you got to do this to me? This sucks. I'm never watching this show again. The camera pulls out to show how many bodies are in this morgue. Jackson Hole took an incredible amount of loss on this attack. So there's chaos at the hospital.
Yes.
Ellie is unconscious and she has a chest tube, which we're talking about. Someone asked the other day, someone asked,
why didn't Ellie just get up and go after them?
No, why she had a chest tube. And since I just watched a full season of The Pit, I know that it's either because she has a tension pneumothorax or she has a hemothorax, which is so
internal bleeding in the chest.
So your spacer on your lung is negative pressure, right? That's why it can expand. It's because there's no air pressure in there. When you get poked in a place you're not supposed to get poked, air gets in there, and it collapses the lung because there's no more negative pressure.
Which, if she got kicked in the ribs hard enough,
which is exactly what they did, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So if it's a tension pneumothorax, it's air that got in there. If it's a hemothorax, it's blood that got in there. And you put a chest tube in to drain either the air or the blood, so you can like reinflate the lung. Go watch The Pit. It's an amazing show, and I feel like a doctor already. She wakes up and immediately flashes back to what happened with Joel and starts screaming. It's really hard to watch because she does such a good job.
Another scene where the actor acts their dick off.
Yep. Bella Ramsey doesn't have a dick now. So there's a recurring thing in the game that they're clearly bringing over to the show, which is that Ellie is a victim of PTSD, particularly after Joel's death. And it causes some really serious problems with her. And this is the first time we see it because she doesn't wake up and think about what happened. She wakes up and she is in that moment. She doesn't know she's in a hospital. To her, she's in that moment where Joel was dying,
they have to give her some morphine or something to get her knocked out.
Yeah, they knocked her out. Yeah. So we do a time jump. It's like 3 months later.
3 months later, yep.
Jackson's rebounding from the attack.
It's spring now.
Yeah, they're rebuilding. There's a funny scene where Jesse finishes. Tommy is like hammering a thing and he gets kind of tired and Jesse comes over and does it.
I got you, old man.
Yeah, and I like how Tommy just gives him an eye roll. He's like, fucking kids. Fucking hate these. So Ellie is still in the hospital.
Yep.
But she's cleared for discharge.
She's recovered. She's medically okay.
Yeah.
But
only after
she has to talk to the therapist.
Yeah, she has to talk to Gail. And Ellie says exactly what she thinks Gail wants to hear. But we know that Gail isn't a fucking moron. So she listens to Ellie talk and she's like, yeah, you're doing great. I can totally tell. Yeah. Totally not suffering from PTSD. No, you're great. Yeah. You sure you want to talk about anything?
In a different timeline, in a different time and place, Ellie would be a genius.
Yeah.
Like, she would be like a doctor curing cancer or something. Yeah. It's just that because she lives
the circumstances
which she in, like, that genius is applied to like killing things
or getting out of uncomfortable situations.
Manipulating people to get what she wants, or just figuring out ways to get what she wants.
Yeah.
Like if that could be put to something productive, she would be inventing fusion power or something.
So Gail asks her, she's like, hey, I want to talk about New Year's Eve. And I know that you and Joel got into a big fight. And my last conversation with Joel, he mentioned wronging you in some way, but he never said what. He just said that he saved you. And Ellie seems interested.
It's like,
She's like, well, what did he say he did? And she's like, well, he didn't say. He just said that he saved you. She's like, oh, well, he saved me a ton of times. There's probably nothing. Can we please, for the love of God, be done with this conversation? So she also says that she saw Joel on the porch and didn't talk to him. She's like, I wish I had, but can't go back and redo it. And
our last conversation with someone doesn't define our
whole experience with him. Yeah. I have a feeling that this is a lie.
Probably.
Because in the game, Ellie has a conversation. She walks over to him on the porch and they have a whole conversation, and it kind of mends some of the problems they're having. I have a problem that we might see this in flashback form. I think that we're going to see that she did in fact talk to Joel, and they had a nice moment together before he was killed the next day.
They're saving it for maximum emotional manipulation.
Sure. Yeah. After her talk, she leaves the hospital.
I love this shot. Like she walks out,
Smiles.
she has a little bit of a smile on her face.
Yep.
She walks down the hall.
The second she knows someone isn't watching,
it all just melts away.
Yeah.
And also the lighting, because like when she walks
Everything
out,
gets
she's
darker.
in full lighting.
Yep.
And as she goes further and further, it gets darker and darker until her face just disappears into shadow.
Yeah. I just immediately, her face just drops.
It's
right.
A masterful combination of acting and set design
and cinematography. Yeah. So she goes home and she visits, so she was living in the garage
of Joel's house.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
she gets there. Outside the fence, there's a bunch of like flowers and notes of people leaving memories of Joel.
Which is funny because I bet Joel never thought that he'd become the pillar of a community like this.
But he is. Partially by virtue of like he knows how to build things, and that's something that Jackson Hole desperately needed.
Also, Joel always was approachable and kind to people, and like this cordyceps thing happened and turned and made him do really terrible things. But if it hadn't happened, like he would have been one of like the cool guys, you know. She finds a box in his bedroom.
Yeah. This is another, like this whole sequence where she's going through the house by herself. There's no dialogue at all. It's just Bella Ramsey acting with the body and the hands. Like while she's walking around, she has her hands down on her side, almost like she just doesn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, she's wandering around. Yeah.
It's so well done.
So this bit where she finds the box is like a shot-for-shot recreation of the game, where she finds
Joel's watch,
the broken watch that his daughter gave to him as a gift,
and underneath,
behind it, his
big old revolver.
Yeah, and she pulls it out and she sticks it in her pants. She's like, "Oh, this is I'm going to use this later."
It's symbolic, I think, that she specifically put aside the watch. Like it's one of those things where like you can choose
move on
to
or
move
dwell.
on or
seek revenge. Yeah. And she was like, we're doing revenge. The whole rest of the show is going to be one giant revenge. There's this heartbreaking scene where she goes into Joel's closet,
sees his jacket and just cries.
Yeah. The moments like this are why I say that Bella Ramsey
she is phenomenal.
Yeah. This and another scene a little bit later on, she does so much with her face, and I love how much of a little shit she is sometimes. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
she's
a gremlin.
Yeah, and I love her so much. So Dina shows up. She's got cookies. And she's like, okay, I made you cookies because I think you're probably about to be very mad at me. And she's like, well, why the fuck would I be mad at you?
Why would I be mad at you?
She's like, well, do you remember in the hospital when I told you I didn't know anything about the people who killed Joel? And she's like, yes. And I based a lot of my decisions going forward on that. And she's like, okay, well, I lied.
That was a lie.
Yeah, I knew.
He's like, I am going to strangle you if you do not tell me what you know.
Yeah, she's like, not only did I not know anything, I know most of their names. I know where they're from, where they're going, and who they're a part of. And Ellie's like, God damn it,
you motherfucker.
Yeah. She's like, you cost us time, but we could have caught up with them.
Dina's like, counterpoint, when the only thing you know about a person is where they're going, kind of makes sense to let them get there.
Yeah, it's easy to find him then. Yeah. So Ellie's mad at first, but she's sweet on Dina. So she
okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's make the best out of the situation. What do you know?
Right. So they do some deduction, right? So they know that the WLF is the Western Liberation Front, which operates out of Seattle, which is probably where they're going. They know
this because they had the former Firefly.
Yeah. And then Dina tells Ellie the name of the girl who killed Joel. And she said, "What's her name?" And she says, "Abby." And then Ellie says it back. She says, "Abby." And you can tell that name sparks this obsession just in the moment that will never leave her. And you can just see, like, in her that moment, she's like, Abby is everything right now. Yes. That is the only thing that I see. And so what we know is that the WLF is in Seattle. It's one of those weird group of, like, a bunch of other groups that fought Fedra.
Liberation Front.
Right.
That their logo is a wolf because, of course, it is WLF.
Yeah. And Dina's like, WLF is probably small. They're probably real small, and they're probably really easy to do.
They got like 5 guys. Yeah. It'll be fine.
So Ellie approaches Tommy about tracking down Abby. Tommy has had
3 months to deal with this.
And he also has too many responsibilities to just go chase after them. Yep. And Ellie says, Joel would do this for you. And he's like, first of all, Joel would kill a whole, like...
Joel would kill an entire city if he thought he could get me back alive.
Right. But that's not what this is. Also, don't talk to me about my brother like you know him better than I do. He's my fucking brother.
I have known him for twice as long as you've been alive, at least.
Yeah. So this manipulation that you do on people, that shit's not working on me. Yeah. So Tommy says that he's like, if we're doing this, we're doing it by the book. We're going to propose a posse to the city council. There has to be a public forum and a vote. And Ellie's like, I hate politics. No, we have to do this. He tells Ellie where Joel's grave is. He's like 10 miles south of town. That's where we bury Joel if you want to go see him. And she says, I'll see him on my way to Seattle, which is a motherfucker. I'm going to Seattle regardless. Right. So we meet the Seraphites, which is you end up learning in the game is this, and we're not doing any like serious spoilers going forward, but it's a cult in the Seattle area.
You would know this if you just watched the show. Like right. They have weird scars on their cheeks.
Yeah, they've all
clearly they've got something going on with them. This guy and a little girl talk about their prophet. And their way of life, and they communicate with whistles, which is if you've ever played the second game, a source of extreme anxiety, because these motherfuckers surround you and all you hear is whistles. And you're like, is that the shoot the motherfucker whistle? I don't know what whistle that was. They've got hammers and shit. And then they get a warning whistle from one of their scouts, and they all panic and run into the woods, and they pull a Frodo and hide behind hide behind a stump. So Ellie boxes with Jesse. She's almost to where she was before she was injured, and they talk about the upcoming vote, because Jesse's on the council now. Yeah,
I think he took Joel's spot. And he's like, I can't talk about the vote, but let me give you some advice. Don't just wing it. Write it out and read it out loud, because if you just wing it, you're going to be angry, and the council isn't going to vote for angry. So play this smart, but also you can count on my vote, obviously. Yeah. So they have the council meeting. Some guy, and I swear to God, this is in the credits, is Boring Scott, talks about chickens and turkeys and corn and shit. And then Maria's like, Boring Scott.
But that does not have anything to do with Joel, so please sit the fuck down.
This scene, the beginning of this scene really plays like a scene from Parks and Rec when they would do town hall meetings.
It's Patton Oswalt giving his filibuster about
Boba Fett. Yeah. So a lady gets up and says they have to keep their best men here to defend the town, which is reasonable, by the way. Which, by the way, the motion is to send 16 of their best men to find and execute Joel's killers. Another guy waxes poetic about forgiveness and mercy, and he's kind of a philosopher. And then Seth the homophobe stands up, and starts yelling at everyone about.
He doesn't stand up though, because like
he does. He got his cane. He stands up.
I thought he was just sitting there. And
no. He gets up. He gets up and kind of I think he does. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Maria's like, Seth, you're not on the list. He's like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, look, if we don't fucking kill those fuckers, they're gonna come back and kill us.
Yeah. Also, Joel was cool, and
if it was any of us who got killed, Joel would be out there killing them.
He'd probably kill a whole fucking hospital to save one of us. And everyone's like, that's
oddly specific.
That's too soon. So Ellie gives a pretty good speech about justice versus revenge. And she says that she'll accept the council's decision. And you're like, sure you will.
Also, I do not buy for a second that she thinks this is justice or that she cares about justice and revenge.
The only thing she cares about is killing Abby and her friends. The council votes, and by the way, you can tell that like when Seth gets up to like come to her defense, she's like, it had to be Seth, didn't it? Son of a bitch. Seth the homophobe. What the fuck? So the council votes not to send the group to Seattle.
It's a vote of 8-3, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming. Yeah. So, oh my God, fucking Gail at a T-ball game getting drunk off her ass on beer. This woman has carted out an entire cooler full of beer and is sitting there yelling at T-ballers like...
Tommy comes out and is like...
Bend your knees, you motherfucker! Just...
Tommy comes out and is like, I didn't know you liked baseball. And she's like, yeah, I love the Detroit Tigers. Too bad they sucked.
Yeah. Also, I love beer.
Yes.
Tommy, that's what we're doing here. I love beer. Would you like a beer? And he's like, yeah.
She's like, as a counselor, I'm supposed to talk to another shrink to, just offload all the shit I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But I'm the only one. And he's like, well, how do you cope? And she's like, motherfucker, I smoke a lot of pot and I drink a lot of beer.
I am a functional alcoholic and drug addict.
Mm-hmm. And Tom is like, wow, that's dark.
he's like, I think I knew that about you, actually. Yeah. So they have a talk about Ellie, and basically Gail's like, that girl is fucked up. I think probably in a lot of ways, unsurprisingly. Yeah. And
Tommy's like, well, I can't help but feel like Joel rubbed off on her. And she's like, no. Like, she was like this well before Joel showed up, and she would have been like this if Joel never showed up in her life. Like,
and then she says, and it's kind of surprising and a little disturbing to hear a mental health professional say this, but she says, some people just can't be saved, referring to Ellie.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, girl, like, you're not supposed to say that shit out loud. You're just supposed to write that in the file. Yeah. So back home, Ellie is packing for her trip to Seattle.
Ellie has pulled out every gun she owns.
Yep. She's taking all the guns.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, no food, just guns.
Just guns.
Yeah. She'll survive on guns. Yes. So
Dina fucking knocks on the door.
Yeah, which, by the way, clearly always intended to go to Seattle, regardless of what the council said. So
100%.
Yeah, Dina knocks on the door. Ellie's like, oh, I'm about to go to bed.
She's like, fucker, no, you're not. Let me in.
That's really funny. You hear from the other side of the door. She's like, Ellie, you're not going to bed. Open the fucking door.
So she gets in there. She sees the guns. She's like, you dumb idiot.
How many guns do you have? Fuck.
Is this all you were going to take? Like, and like, she pulls out this piece of paper. She has this complete plan. She has a map. She has like all the provisions.
She's like, Ellie, what is your plan? And she shows... She shows Dina the plan on paper.
I don't know. I'm going to go west.
It says, go southwest, kill Abby. It's like,
Dina's like,
Ellie, this is not a plan.
This is not even the concept of a plan.
Yeah. By the way, the concept of plan. Which route are you taking? Are you going to go straight there? Are you going to go on the highway? Do you have the right fucking shoes? Do you have tents? Do you have fucking the thermal blankets and shit? And she's like, I have guns, motherfucker. That's all I need. And she's like, no, that's not how you survive out in the wilderness.
I love this scene because it shows Dina is every bit Ellie's equal. And like, she has the logistical and like
she's smart,
long range planning stuff on lock.
Yeah.
Like, she might not be as good as like carnage and violence as Ellie, but like they complement each other.
Yeah. I mean, Ellie is the impulsive chaos gremlin and Dina is the planner, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, thankfully, because I like you quite a lot, I have a plan and I have a map.
And I have a guy who's going to get us all the supplies we need.
Yep. And we've like, by the way, stop wearing your fucking Chucks. You need boots. And
I went all the way across this country in the chucks. Like, they're fine.
Yeah, she's like,
No.
are they fine?
No.
Yeah. So she's like, here's our shopping list. And she's like, where the fuck are we going to get all that? And she's like, oh, you're going to love where we're going to get all this. We're going to meet them at 3 a.m. Out by the gate. And they get out there, and who's the guy that gives them all the supplies? Seth. That's who. Seth the homophobe. And
even trades Ellie for his gun. He's like, this one's better. You're going to want it.
yeah, it's a better gun. I like how he's like, I'd go with you, but during the attack, I got hit by friendly fire. And Ellie goes, are you sure it was friendly? And Dina's like, motherfucker, Ellie.
Ellie holds grudges until they die of old age.
Which, by the way, I am very much like that, so I understand.
I get it.
Yeah.
But like, so they mount up, and Seth like goes up to shake her hand, and Ellie like looks at him for like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
and like,
you can see it.
is like,
you can
yeah,
see it.
Okay.
Like the numbers are rolling past, and you're just like, that is a fucking nice rifle he gave me. You know what? Okay.
You're a dick, but you helped. So yeah, okay.
So
yeah, this nice montage.
Ellie and Dina.
Yeah, that's right. First,
yeah,
they
Ellie
go
and
out to
Dina leave, and they visit Joel's grave, and Ellie leaves coffee beans on his grave, which is heartbreaking because there's a really funny scene in the first season where Ellie has never smelled or tasted coffee before on the road with Joel, and she says it smells like ass or something because Joel really loved coffee. And she leaves the coffee beans, and this is another difficult scene. And Bella Ramsey does such a good performance where she puts the beans down. You can tell she has this smile like, oh, Joel would think this is so stupid. But she's also devastated by guilt and sadness. And she cries, and Dina kind of stands back and lets her have her moment and everything. Mm-hmm. And you can tell she's making this internal promise. She's like, oh, I'm gonna find Abby, and if it's the last fucking thing I do, I'm gonna kill that girl. So on the road, Dina asks Ellie about the first person she ever killed, because she's all about the romance talk. Mm-hmm. And Ellie's like, well, I'm not gonna tell you about the first one because it's way too really fucked up, and I don't need to tell you about my exes. Yeah. But the second one was a guy in Kansas City. I shot him, which, by the way, was not someone she killed. Joel had to kill him. She shot him and paralyzed him, and he was screaming for his mother. Yeah. And then Joel stabbed him to death. So yeah, there's that. They spend the night in a tent because Dina is like, I can feel in my tits like there's about to be some rain.
We gotta get under and put up this tent.
So they get in the tent. Dina brings up the kiss they shared on New Year's Eve.
I was like, you were high. I was
high
drunk.
As fuck. Yeah, and you know
like,
what? You should just go back to Jesse. And she's like, well, I did. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't need to hear that.
That was not the answer I was looking for, but just file that.
Scale
away.
1 to 10. Good kisser, and Bella's like
6,
which she was like, mother,
what 6? Yeah. That's terrible.
She's like, you're not being objective with this. I asked you a serious question. I want a serious answer. So they go to bed. They turn the lights off, and then Dina confesses that she's like, I actually was not that high, by the way. And you can see Ellie just the hint of a smile. Yeah, yeah. So Dina and Ellie find the Seraphites from earlier, but now they're all dead. Mm-hmm. Some of them are shot in the back. Yep. Including the little girl.
And Ellie specifically points out all these shell casings are different calibers, so it probably wasn't the government Pedral.
Dina throws up, by the way. Mm-hmm. And we have a small super spoiler section. This, I think, might become important later.
Okay.
Because in the moment you think it's because she's throwing up because of the bodies, and I don't think that's necessarily true. So they arrive in Seattle. They get to Seattle. They notice that there aren't any wolves around. And so they're like, great. Well, not many wolves. Let's go.
It's great.
And so we go to the streets of Seattle, and we find out.
Go to the Space Needle specifically.
Right, where Manny is hanging out.
Manny is up there keeping watch, and they're like, hey, can you tell us what's in grid, blah, blah, blah. He's like, fucking fine.
He's so mad.
He's all
so
clear.
Mad about it, yeah. And then we see the wolves in full force. Not only aren't
they have an APC, they have like 2 Jeeps, and then they have like
tons of foot soldiers.
Like 100 guys.
Yeah.
Just marching down the street.
Yeah. And they have no idea what they're in for. They have no idea. And that's where the episode ends.
Yep.
So a couple of super spoiler things, and I'm not going to bring up a ton of like real important ones because I know you haven't played the game, and I want people to be surprised. But in the game, Tommy leaves on his own to find them, and he does nothing but leave a note. There was no convincing Tommy in the game. Tommy fucking, I'm gonna go find him. I'm gonna go fucking kill him, and that's all Maria finds, right? And in the game, at this point in the adventure, Dina is pregnant.
Oh,
and I'm pretty sure that that's her vomit scene. I think that she was probably going to throw up regardless. So
yeah,
and it becomes a for different reasons that I won't get into, becomes a real big thing later on. Yeah. So that's the end of our show, folks. We will be back next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central. We're going to talk about the next 3 episodes of Andor after they drop, and then of course,
Last of Us.
Yeah, The Last of Us on Saturday. Probably in the afternoon at some point. Chris and I are going to go see Thunderbolts, and then we're probably going to do a special episode of the podcast.
Be real short, in and out.
Yeah,
15-minute adventure.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, it might be.
It'll be a lot longer than that.
It'll be more than that. We'll do a review and kind of like a loose recap of Thunderbolts. So you can join us for that.
Apparently the reviews are really good.
Yeah.